The timetable's completely against her. Most legal experts say that if she appeals, it would probably take about 2 years to come to court. And therefore, that would be right in the middle of the sort of closing stages of the next presidential campaign. One imagines that that would be impossible for her. So, yes, I don't think there's any question of Marine Le Pen running as her party's presidential candidate in 2027.
Marine Le Pen, leader of France's right-wing National Rally Party, has been barred from running in France's next presidential election in 2 years' time, after a French court of 3 judges found her guilty of using European Parliament funds to finance her party's activities. The ruling could herald a crisis in French politics. Le Pen has run for president 3 times before and lost 3 times. But polls suggest she'd be favourite to win in 2027, when the incumbent, President Macron, cannot run again. Now a court has barred her from running and levied a 4-year jail sentence, 2 of the years suspended. This will inevitably lead to claims that the judges are overreaching themselves and dabbling in the political process. It's as much a crisis for her party, the National Rally, as it is for Le Pen. For if she cannot run for president, who can carry the rally's banner? David Chazan reports for The Times from Paris, and he joins me now. David, let's start with the charges. What exactly has she been convicted of, along with a lot of other MEPs from the rally and other party members?
She has been convicted of being at the centre of what the judges said was a systematic system of diverting European Parliament funds for domestic political purposes in France, i.e. party business in France, which is illegal because these are funds that are supposed to be reserved for European Parliament business. There's no suggestion of personal enrichment, but the judges said that this was one of the ways the party overcame its financial difficulties and managed to finance over a period of years what's been a spectacular rise from a party that was fairly obscure, seen more or less as a fringe group, to now the biggest single party in the French Parliament and the largest French party in the European Parliament.
David, how certain is it that she cannot run for president in 2 years' time? Could an appeal resolve that in time? Though I understand that an appeal in France essentially means a retrial. Well, is the timetable now against her?
The timetable's completely against her. Most legal experts say that if she appeals, it would probably take about 2 years to come to court. And therefore, that would be right in the middle of the sort of closing stages of the next presidential campaign. One imagines that that would be impossible for her. So, yes, I don't think there's any question of Marine Le Pen running as her party's presidential candidate in 2027.
So what will the National Rally do if she can't run for president, which from what you say seems pretty clear? I mean, she has this protege who is, I was going to say admired, but he's certainly regarded as an up-and-coming young politician, 29-year-old Jordan Bardella. But is it not the case that he's widely seen to be too young to run for president?
And also too inexperienced. And I've spoken since this judgment was handed out. I've spoken to 2 members of the National Rally who were former advisors to Marine Le Pen, and they've said that there are a lot of misgivings within the party about whether Jordan Bardella should or could be the man. Because, this party is essentially Marine Le Pen's creation. She more or less inherited it from her father, the party founder, Jean-Marie Le Pen. But when she took it over, it was really out in the political wilderness. So she's managed to detoxify it and make it acceptable to a lot more mainstream voters than it was before. And that's really been her work rather than anyone else in the party. And I don't really think there's anyone else, or certainly no one obvious, apart from possibly Jordan Bardella, who could take it over. Now, Jordan Bardella back in November said that he thought that any presidential candidate should be free from any criminal record. So in a sense, he was already paving the way to take over as the party's candidate. But Marine Le Pen and Jordan Bardella and all the other top people in the party are now holding a crisis meeting at their Paris headquarters. So we shall have to see what comes out of that. Marine Le Pen is going to speak on national French television this evening.
Is there a risk of a dangerous backlash now to this, particularly on the populist right, which could go beyond the national rally itself? People will say, look, they did it in Romania, they've now done it here in France, judges deciding who we can vote for. That Marine Le Pen was favourite to win. This is an establishment carve-up to stop her from running just when she was better placed than ever.
I think that's right. I think there is a danger of a political backlash. And, you know, it's interesting that even Marine Le Pen's most implacable opponents, including France's current prime minister, a centrist, François Bayrou, including the justice minister, and including left-wing politicians as well, have all expressed misgivings about this judgment. They say, fine, you know, it's probably okay for her to be found guilty, but it's very rare in France when somebody is declared, say, ineligible to run for public office for 5 years, which is the case of Marine Le Pen. Normally, if she were to appeal against that, the appeal process would suspend the application of the sentence. But the judges in this case have specifically said that it will start immediately and it won't be suspended by any appeal. So this is something that will play out clearly in the next few months and indeed the next 2 years until the next presidential election. But there are going to be a lot of very angry supporters of Marine Le Pen out there who say, yes, we've been deprived of a democratic vote.
David, it's a moving story. We'll let you get back to it.
Vous avez une croix à l'extérieur tout à l'heure si vous voulez vous destiner.